Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Tricia Walsh.
Good evening, Susette.
Well, the summer is just flying by.
It has completely
It's
flown
gone.
by. It feels like it's over.
Right, and the chamber still gears up for all of their events in the fall and winter, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to believe that we jump right from Art Festival, which was a huge success, to I'm already working on 40 Under 40 with Sherilyn Toporowski, our events director. Nominations will be going out the first week in September.
Unbelievable.
So be sure to be checking the day for those. Always a great event. Sold out completely last year.
Okay. So the nomination form will be showing up via the day on your website.
You would have to be living under a rock in order to not find out about the nomination forms.
Under a rock.
So,
Okay, for all of you who live under a rock, get out of there, okay? But yes, because you've got a September 1st deadline, right?
well, I think
Generally?
September 1st, I just looked over the information today. It looks like the nominations launch September 1st.
Well, it's been a great summer for
It has.
Mystic, and in Groton, Mystic, our area chamber has really done a great job. I think business has been pretty good, and I'm hoping that the fourth quarter, so everybody shop local and support all local businesses.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And support your local nonprofits.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to.
Well, Tricia,
Good segue.
this is a fantastic segue. So you know that Tricia Walsh is the president of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. And this evening, we have with us the past president of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. And she is now, you know her. I mean, it's really, I don't need an introduction. The one and only Tricia Cunningham.
That's me.
Welcome back. Director of Development and Community Relations for Fairview. I'm going to actually let you do the intro to this very special guest that we have on our left side.
All right.
Okay, but you're enjoying your job.
I love it.
Baby Keegan is
Yes.
fantastic.
Baby Keegan's fantastic. The job is fantastic. Everything's great.
So who is this person that you brought with you this evening?
I brought my boss with me. So my boss is all the way to our left, and his name is James Rosenman. He's our CEO and administrator for
Good
Fairview
evening, James.
Oddfellows Home.
Pleasure to be here.
Really, it's great. I don't know what you're going to do with these women here. I hope you at least get something to say one time.
One time.
through the-
I've been
through the
thinking
show.
about what I'm going to say the one time, so I'm working on that.
He's going to make it count.
Yeah, I'm going to make it count for sure. Yeah,
So we've got a lot to talk about.
We do.
absolutely.
Well, okay, all right. See, so what I wanted to make sure we talked about is first of all where Fairview is located and what our core focus is. So I think James would be the best suited person to go over all that.
Yeah,
for us.
absolutely. So I'll just give a little bit of intro to Fairview, the Oddfellows Home, Connecticut, and do excuse my little bit of my nasally voice. This is not normal.
Allergies.
I thought it was normal.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I know. I know. A lot of people think that, but it's a little bit of
It's
sinus
tis the
issue.
season.
It is. So Fairview Oddfellows Home of Connecticut has been on its site since around 1892 when it was purchased by the Oddfellows. So it's been there a long time, and it overlooks the river. The Coast Guard Academy is right across the river, and you have the Gold Star Bridge. So it's a really beautiful site. Originally started out as a home for providing care to indigent individuals, orphans, widows, things of that nature. And then as time progressed and things evolved, we really developed into a care and convalescent center for seniors and older adults. And where we are, our current building, we have, right now we have independent apartments, which is our Fellowship Manor. We have our skilled nursing facility, which is, we have 120 beds, and we do a wide range of services through our skilled nursing facility. And we have Thames Edge at Fairview, which is our newest addition to the campus, which is
Great addition.
a great addition.
Yes.
Beautiful. And as you're driving, because James said where we're located, you can see the construction. If you're driving over the Gold Star Bridge and you look to the right, you can see the new homes. You see the new road that was put in to bring you down to Military Highway.
Yeah, I can keep an eye on construction as I'm driving across on the weekends and things like that. But so it's 23 homes, and we have a big clubhouse, and that's our first phase. And it's, as I mentioned, independent living. It's 55 and very active adults.
Very active. I made
Emphasis
sure
on very-
James said very active.
Active adults just wouldn't do it. You know, have to be
Very active adults.
And so we are sold out on our first phase, and we're always looking for people to contact us for a wait list, and if they're interested in phase one. And we should have that wrapped up towards the end of September. So we have, in that phase, we have attached homes and detached homes, and they're really, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think that they're great. I mean, when sometimes you think of active adult or senior, housing, sometimes you have an image in your head of, something that's not as nice. And these are homes that were built for any age group. They have universal design, so we incorporated designs into them as people need more assistance in their home in terms of living. They have, different things that they can do to make it more accessible. But you don't notice those things where they used to typically have traditionally like handicap accessible. Now it's considered universal design. And so they have a very, kind of broad appeal to people. And as people coming from different age groups, they all find it very attractive.
And the aesthetics, when you walk in, it's bright and airy, tall ceilings, big windows. Right. Some of the views from some of these places are just striking. Same view of the Thames River.
Now I have a question. Why the need for this right now? Because they're popping up all over the United States, but why the need now?
Yeah, so I think, it's a really good point. I think for continuing care communities, which is what we officially are, and I can get into that a little later, but there are, a few thousand actually in the country that do what we do in terms of providing different levels of care on the same campus. I think what makes us different is the type of housing and the type of services that we provide. Mm-hmm. For example, they're houses, and they're not apartments, and that's more uncommon. So you see a lot of communities that have just apartments or they have a mix, and we've decided to just do houses. So that makes us unique right off the bat. We've decided to have a model that is, pretty much a la carte. So you don't come in and we say, you have to have this, this, and this is what it's going to cost you a month, and you have to get the meal plan, and you got to get this. We unbundled it so people have a choice, and we feel that appeals more to baby boomers and frankly, people who don't want to pay for something that they may not want to use. And so we have a lot of people who come in that want to cook and do their own thing, and that's great.
But this is the biggest population, is the baby boomers.
It is.
And I guess that's where I was headed, James, is that this is going to be the reality as a lot of the active adults are getting less active, but some of us are still active. But it's still an option, and it's a very good option. Because the whole idea of senior, I think sometimes can be a very, can be a negative.
People don't identify with that word necessarily.
Not
yeah,
at
because
all.
You can have a 90-year-old who has the mentality and the physical kind of ability of a 50-year-old, and a 50-year-old who is like a 90, So
Right.
I don't think that term seniors and age is it's not a label that, I think especially now we can put on people and say, well, if you're 80, you should be here, or you should be doing this, because it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And but there's a huge need, and for our price range that we have, and for the services we provide, we're obviously, there's obviously a demand there, and people, frankly, I think above all want to come in and not worry about their houses anymore. I mean, they're done with the ice dams, they're done with the raking, and all the stuff that I would frankly move out of my house into this if I could.
Trisha's
if I put
saying
a
yes.
little bit,
Her husband would be saying yes.
I have white hairs, but I'm going to try to add a lot and maybe see if I can sneak by. But it's definitely a need and a demand for it. So.
Well, and a lot of while Thames Edge has been happening on the outside of the building of Fairview, there's been a lot going on inside Fairview. Since James has been at Fairview, it's been a couple of years. He's just gone through and has changed a lot on how we do business inside Fairview, which is wonderful. And we've changed our rehab, our physical therapy location, and enhanced that. And we're also adding our new memory care program, Guided Journeys. So I don't know if you want to expand on that.
I mean, we really do. We provide a variety of services at our skilled nursing facility, but we really focus on is our short-term rehabilitation. So people who have had a hospital stay, and they come to us after that hospital stay to get better, to get rehabilitation and go home, and we want people to go home. The other side is we serve people in a long-term care that need long-term care, and a big part of that now is memory care, unfortunately. Big demand for people who need a higher level of care, and they have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, and they require around the clock nursing care for a variety of different reasons. And so we've always had you know, a group at Fairview who have needed those services, and what we decided this year, and actually like later last year, but we decided to really formalize that and really develop a comprehensive memory care program on top of our physical layout that we have of our second floor of our building, which is great, and wonderful views, by the way, with that. But really, we added a person to come in and really oversee the programming and the clinical part of that, to make sure that, you know, that we're not just providing great, you know, nursing care and providing good medical care, but we're also providing comprehensive programming around the clock, and that's something that is really needed in this region, because it's not enough to say, well, it's locked, therefore it's a
Right.
dementia unit. I mean, that's not something that would, you know, appeal to me for my parents or grandparents, or it's about the quality of life, and so we don't emphasize you know, it being a secure unit, which it is, but it's about keeping people engaged so that they're, you know, so that they have a lot of things going on and they are, like I said, engaged throughout the day. And then on the other side, like Tricia mentioned, with the short-term rehabilitation, we moved our short-term rehabilitation space to another area of the building that has, again, great views. So you're seeing a theme here. We really try to capitalize on that. And it's a brand new space. I mean, it took us a few months. We demolished a couple rooms and combined them, and we have a huge space now where people can go down. And there's no other patient care areas on that floor. They can go down and get their rehab in privacy, and then go back to the room and
Yeah, and from there they have access to the outdoors, direct access to the outdoors.
That's a
So
good point,
they've
right.
been, since they've moved down there, I've talked to several of the therapists, and they've been accessing, you know, taking
Going
the
outside,
patients
yeah.
outside
Yeah.
and giving them additional therapy that way as well, which has been terrific. So they've had that added value, added benefit.
I mean, we've always had a very good reputation, Fairview has. I mean, and that's been demonstrated both kind of on the quantitative end in terms of our outcomes, but you can't just rest on that forever, and you have to make sure that, you know, that we're keeping up, that we're modernizing, and that we're staying relevant and ahead of what other people are
Right.
providing.
Wow.
And we've really worked hard in the last you know, couple years, and the team there had been working hard on that well before I got there, to really establish that foundation. But we are a nonprofit, which makes us unique, and on top of that, we are really I really feel like providing very relevant and fantastic, you know, services to people, because our goal above all is to provide a great quality of life and to get people better and feeling better. So that's what we do. You know, we're not there to serve shareholders or, you know, fly me out of my private jet to Aspen. Though Tricia will fundraise. Tricia's going to fundraise for that.
And the point
soon.
of this is?
Yes.
Well, it's great that you mentioned that you are a nonprofit, because it kind of segues into, so how do you support and fund all of these things that you're doing?
Well, so a lot of what I do is I do the fundraising, and a lot of my fundraising helps with extra programming and extra care. So with our Guided Journeys memory care, I'm fundraising for that right now, and so we could add, we added an aviary, we added a fish tank, we're adding other additional programs. James mentioned we added a new staff person to help bring that program to fruition. So that all takes extra funds. So that's a lot of what I'm
Right.
doing. And I have a series of events and fundraisers coming up that I'm happy to tell you about, of course. One, a lot of you might be familiar, we've historically done the car raffle.
Yes, we are very
You're
familiar.
very familiar with
that. Oh yes, we see the posters coming in.
So this year we decided to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, tell us
and
about that, Tricia.
It's very exciting. So it's still a raffle, but
Right.
what we're doing is the prize is, instead of a car, it's $14,000 cash prize. So $14,000 is the first place. Second place is $500. Third and fourth place is $250. So, and tickets are $100, and it's a great way to support a local nonprofit that gives good quality care to our seniors in the area, but also great odds. There's only 500 tickets
That's
printed.
right.
Only
That's
500 tickets printed, and terrific odds to win a huge cash prize. So it's pretty cool. The tickets are for sale until October 2nd. You can
and
call
a long
me.
time for the tickets to be sold too. I mean, so there's a great opportunity.
Yeah, great opportunity. So get your ticket, or tickets, I should say. Get your tickets.
Right.
And then we'll be doing the drawing at Fairview on October 2nd.
But how can we get a hold of you?
You can call me at, well, look on the website, which is www.fairviewct.org, and the flyer's on there, and you can download it and print it, or you can call me, 860-448-4722.
And you have to be present.
No.
You don't have to be
No,
present.
good
Okay.
question. You don't have to be present to win
Okay.
at all. I will by all means get in touch with you immediately and
Sure, you'll pick the ticket. She's not
Yeah.
here. Next, you know.
No. So I'll definitely call the winner as soon as possible. At that moment, I'll have my cell phone in hand when we
Okay.
draw that winning ticket and call them.
Right.
And
Any
it'll-
restrictions to this?
No.
No, just
No.
buy.
And also we take check, cash, credit card, so I can take
Right.
credit card over the phone. So you can call me and I'll just take your credit card number and I'll send you your ticket. We'll make it very easy for you.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
know.
I mean, it changes it up a little bit too. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
last few years, I thought car was a great idea, but sometimes I didn't like the color. and let me tell you, that was very important.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then the other event that we have is coming up is the Antiques and Collectibles Auction. So this is save the date, Saturday, November 8th, and it's held at Fairview. And we do.
It's a great night.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Great
fun night.
night.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
different. We have a silent auction and then we have a live auction. And the live auction focuses on antiques and collectibles that are donated from different people in the area. And so it's a live auction. It runs about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's an all live auction, which is pretty neat. So, but what's cool about this auction is it's not just items that are, $2,000-3,000. A lot of times
Right.
you go to these events where there's live auctions where sometimes you're priced out of that bidding process, and I know I am at some of those events. This is an event where there's items that range from $40 to $100 to $500. So there's a lot of price ranges. So everybody can take part in that live bidding fun, which I think is people really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I think it's the live bidding that, when you get a friend there or somebody trying to bid against
I want that.
you.
I want that. Yeah.
Well, they actually stand up and they
Yeah.
say, no, I want that. And then
I've heard
just
you
really-
gotten on the table practically
I
for
did.
something. Yeah, I heard
I
that.
did. Well, I don't like anybody bidding against me. But
Yeah.
then Fairview doesn't mind bidding against because then you know what you.
So watch
what's
out for
nice-
this one.
Well, I will tell you, it's a fun night. Okay, and last year we had some cocktails and it was a little bit different and it was really great. And you bring your friends along or you meet your friends there. And there it goes. It's a competitive, spirit in you, and you raise a lot of money. Some of us get a little bit overexcited. About it.
We like that.
Yeah, we like that. Yeah,
There's no such thing.
no such thing.
Well, okay.
Jason's
all
no
right,
such
yeah,
thing.
right.
According to James, there's no such thing. But anyways, the date is November 8th, and it's just a really nice night.
It's a nice night. The other event that I have coming up, which is super exciting, this is kind of a repeat. This is something that we actually did when I worked at the Chamber years ago, and we haven't done it, or they hadn't done it in a long time. And so I was like, I think there's an opportunity here. So we are reviving a chocolate tasting event called the Art of Chocolate, Fairview's Art of Chocolate. And it's
Fantastic.
it's going to be held at January 25th at Mystic Marriott, and we'll have between 15 to 20 different restaurants, caterers, bakers,
just
putting
in time
out their
for Valentine's Day.
right,
Yes.
putting out their chocolate item, and so you can go through, get your ticket, and go through and taste as much chocolate as you want. What can get better than that? I mean, that's just a chocolate lover's dream. And then a fun little twist to that is that night we'll be selling raffle tickets for a prized item. We'll be having an item donated from Simply Majestic that
Yes,
is
we
going
will.
to be a pendant made with chocolate diamonds. So be on the lookout for that.
So is that
Yeah.
going to be raffles sold for that night for that
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
pendant? So is
yeah.
that in addition to the ticket price?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be great.
I know. So we'll have live music, and chocolate. I mean, you really don't need anything else, quite frankly, as long as there's the chocolate. But we like to create a nice atmosphere for
But
you.
is there going to be anything in particular, do you know at this point, like chocolate chowder?
That I don't know yet.
Okay.
Chocolate chowder sounds terrific.
Sounds interesting.
Is
But
it just
didn't we
like
have
is it
something
just like a
that,
bowl
Tricia,
of
at one
chocolate?
time?
What
We
is
had-
chocolate
well, we
chowder?
had chocolate
Like just
chowder.
We had chocolate chili.
liquid.
Chocolate chili. Chocolate chili. That's
What's
what
in
it
a
was.
chocolate chili?
Beans that are chocolate?
Oh.
No, I don't know.
I think it has
Sounds-
the cocoa in it. Yeah.
I just want chocolate
Beans and chocolate. That's
Chowder.
It sounds great, doesn't
and
it?
to just drink like liquid chocolate. That sounds good.
It'll be interesting as you get your restaurants lined
Known
up
as a
to.
chocolate shake.
Yeah.
Oh, a chocolate shake. I guess that. Okay. All right. I guess. But yeah, it's going. So stay tuned. I mean, that's not till January 25th. We have a great committee for this event. We have a couple folks from Foxwoods involved. Stay tuned. There will probably be a chocolate meltdown competition between Mystic Marriott chefs and Foxwoods chef and possibly one other. So be on the lookout for that.
You could grow this chocolate meltdown,
it's
chocolate breakout, chocolate, all kinds of things.
It's going to be fun.
It sounds great.
Yeah, so stay tuned. But so this is what it's all about. Is I do the fundraising for something that I care deeply about, and Fairview has been terrific. And being part of that environment and seeing the care that the nurses and the CNAs, everybody gives to our residents day in and day out. It's like it's family, and it's nice. It's nice to be part of that environment and to fundraise for it.
Well, James, I'm not saying you're new to the community, but we embraced you in last year. Last year, was it last year or 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. But tell us a little bit about yourself and the background and how you came to Fairview.
Yeah, so I originally grew up in North Carolina, and
you don't have a southern accent.
I know.
No. Okay.
Maybe it's the sinus.
I think so.
Yeah, it tends to come and go.
Yeah.
But went to school down there and started working with a company that owns and manages continuing care communities. And so I started my career in Charlotte, and I was in there for about 5 years. And my company tapped me to. They called me one day and they said, "How would you like to move to Massachusetts?" And I'm like, "All right, let's go to Massachusetts. I mean, why not, right?"
Right.
And so I moved to Massachusetts. I worked outside Boston for about 5-6 years, and as you know, I was coming on, like I said, about 5 or 6 years. I got a hunch from someone. Actually, someone told me about an opening in a great community in Connecticut, and
they did say great community in Connecticut.
They said great community in Connecticut.
Okay.
And emphasize that. And but not being from here, and I mean, people know what Mystic is in the surrounding greater Mystic area all over. I mean, I knew that even down in North Carolina, not just from Mystic Pizza. The movie, but just in general, because
we like hearing that.
Presidents past and present want to hear that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just a really well regarded. It's a gorgeous area. So I mean, I got to come down here and they were working with a recruiting firm, and came down and learned all about it, and it's been a wonderful experience. I love working with our great group of people at Fairview, and it's really a wonderful community. It's really nice. It's a very tight-knit community, and everybody looks out for each other here, and very strong sense of particularly if we're talking about the chamber on the small businesses, it's just a neat place, and it's really unique. And so I've been at Fairview, like I said, since about March of 2012, and it feels longer in a good way, because we've been working on a lot of neat things, a lot of cool things. But that's a little bit of my background. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other thing is, I just had gone through some surgeries the last few months, and the question to you is how, with the insurances, okay, and Medicare, and the future of Medicare and down the line, how is that going to affect Fairview?
That's a really interesting question and a good question. I think the answer is half of it we kind of don't know. Okay. Because a lot of it depends on policy decisions that are made in Washington and at the state level, and that's depending on what's going on. It's
so how important is a CEO and administrator? How much will it be part of your job to just keep on top of these things, or to work with your legislators? Is that what it is? Okay.
Huge part of what we do is to keep up. I mean, there's an endless amount of new regulations and payment changes, and frankly, at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a maze, and and to find out the rules and to find out all the different, the details can be very daunting. And for someone who's in, receiving treatment in the system, or they're a patient in the system, it can be equally as daunting, because it's a challenging time in healthcare. There's a lot of change,
right, and
the healthcare reform is just a piece of that. But as dollars are tight, and we talked about an aging demographic, baby boomers, at some point they're going to reach a point where you have, much like a lot of other developed countries, where you have a group of people that are older,
right,
a larger group of older people than they do younger people. So, it taxes the Social Security system, it taxes Medicare, and so it's a question of how best to use those resources that are limited. And so, our goal, and on our local level and at Fairview, but also on a macro level as well, is, how do we continue to provide excellent care so that our residents and patients don't have to worry about that, and we're being able to continue to provide those things and deal with those changes. And a little bit what Tricia's talking about, and a little bit about Fame's Edge, is that we're diversifying, so we're not just putting all our eggs in one basket.
Right.
And at the end of the day,
that's what a business has to do, so the business model has to do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're diversifying so we can continue to provide a lot range of services to individuals, but at the same time, rising tides raise all boats, and that in Mystic, and and it, as the skilled nursing facility, it's it's a very in terms of margins, it's a very low margin operation. Right. We spend a lot on staffing. Right. And which is part of our mission, and we'll always continue to do that. But we have to continue to support our organization by doing other things too.
Well, in the business world, when 2008 hit, and my staff was like, "Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? The economy, this, we're not going to have a good Christmas." And I always said to them, "Listen, don't worry about what's out there. Just concentrate what's in here."
That's right.
And if you give the best service, and I said, I promise you, we're going to weather this storm. And I think if you just concentrate, don't worry about what basically what the neighbor's saying. Just concentrate on what you're doing here, and everything will be just fine. Well, James, it's great having you on.
Oh, my pleasure.
I mean, we're going to have you back when the sinus thing is a little bit better. But I want to hear a little bit of that North Carolina.
I'll bring that with me.
I'd like to hear that a little bit more in your
Yours
speeches.
is pretty good.
Well, yes, I've spent some time in the South. Not really. Tricia Walsh, my co-host. Always nice to see you. And Tricia Cunningham, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tricia
This
on
was
a regular basis. But we are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Mystic Matters. Good evening.